Today I'm at Paris Charles de Gaulle Airport and I'm going to be heading off to Sint Maarten with Air France in their business class cabin. I'll check out the lounge, the cabin, the food and drink and do a bit of plane spotting when I get there at the world famous Maho beach. Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here in Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France, and I'm going to be taking Air France over to Sint Maarten in the Caribbean. I'm going to be using their business class cabin and it's on an A330, so it should be an interesting day. Why don't you come along? My day started with a sunrise over Qatar, well, one of their 747s, and off I headed to the airport. I used the CDG Val shuttle which runs out to the car parks and my hotel which was next to one of the stops. We were soon in the airport. If you've never been, Charles de Gaulle feels like a massive airport and can be a bit scary to find your way around. But thankfully, I was in Terminal 2E, which is where the shuttle stopped. Check-in was very quick as I was in business. However, the priority line for passport control was very long. Once through passport control and security, I headed for the lounge. The lounge is pretty big and it was busy when I was there, but I found a table, a coffee and a decent croissant for a bit of breakfast. Suitably refreshed, I headed off to find my gate. There's plenty of expensive shops in the terminal, if that's your thing. For me though, I was looking at the architecture of the airport. It's a great looking place. And who wouldn't love a view like this when you're waiting for a plane? Brilliant. Going from gate 53, that's a long way down. Might get the lift. I think it might be a bus gate. We'll have to see. Yeah, as I thought, it's a bus gate, so the queue is just one big one, there's no priority, so we'll wait and see what happens. And we'll get on our bus and off to the plane. I don't know about catching a buzz. I think it should have been an intercity coach. The plane was miles away. Charles de Gaulle is a big place. My ride today was this Airbus A330-200, and after a short wait on the bus, we got the signal to start boarding. There's two business cabins on this plane, and I was in the smaller one, with just 2 rows of seats, nice and cosy. The seats are laid out in a 222 config, and I had a seatmate, which makes it a bit more difficult getting up when they sleep the whole way. Looking at the seat, there's a coat hanger, pillow and blanket already there. Noise cancelling headphones already plugged in, and a bottle of water, along with universal power and USB slots. A TV control in the side, along with a socket for your own headphones, and the seat controls. Wi-Fi was available on this flight, and if you just wanted messaging and not surfing, it was free for the whole flight. Bargain. You get a little slot for your feet when you want to lie down, and a fairly decent storage compartment under the screen, along with a padded elasticated bit, which I suppose you could put your phone in to stop it rattling around when you're taking off or landing. The screen itself is very shiny, and with daylight, or cabin light for that matter, it does tend to reflect. The cabin crew came round with a pre-departure drink, and it being Air France, you have to try the champagne, don't you? Very nice. We were held at the gate for about an hour, as otherwise we'd have got into Sint Maarten too early due to the winds on the route. But eventually we pushed back and set off on our taxi, which I think was longer than the bus journey. If you like these videos, why not subscribe and hit the bell button so you'll know when I post new ones. It'd be great if you did.
PNC, préparez-vous pour le décollage.
When you take off, you can see the scale of Charles de Gaulle Airport. It's huge. Once airborne, the service started and cabin crew came round with hot towels. Haven't seen those for a while. I gave the window a bit of a scrub with a pillow to try and clean it up a bit. Not much better, I'm afraid. I had a go at using the remote for the telly, which takes a bit of getting used to. Look at the reflections on the screen. And then menus were delivered. Although there was only one starter, there were 4 mains to choose from: a cheese course, dessert and ice cream, and you can have snacks at any time and a sandwich before landing. As we headed off the west coast of France, passing over the Channel Island of Jersey, we got drinks and a snack, and there was cashews and cranberries, a glass of water and champagne. Don't mind if I do. Not long after, lunch was served. My starter was salad, vegetables, a tiny baguette and butter, along with my nemesis, smoked salmon. There was no way I was going to eat the salmon, but everything else went down nicely, and all served on a lovely tablecloth. For my main course, I chose the braised beef cheeks with mashed potato and carrots. And not knowing much about wine, the cabin crew gave me both red wines so I could see which one I liked. See if you can spot the winner. The beef cheeks were melt in your mouth delicious. One of the best meals I've had on a plane. Cheese arrived and it was suitably dispatched, and then it was time for dessert. Macaron, strawberry puff and opera cake, along with ice cream and a coffee. Absolutely delicious. I had a bit of a nap after that and woke up in the middle of the Atlantic with 3 hours to go, and I had to go. Air France's A330 has a loo with a view, and it's a good size as well. Lots of nice toiletries from Clarins. and mirrors both sides. Not bad as loose go. I forgot to have a look at the amenity kit when I was on the plane, but I brought it home with me, so here it is, the Air France amenity kit. It's very nice. Let's see what's in. Some of it might have been stolen because it's been home for a little bit. But in here you've got an eye mask, which feels quite nice. A pair of socks, handy for keeping your feet warm when you go into a hot country. Some toothpaste, Signal, earplugs, Clarins hand and nail treatment cream, and some Hydra Essential Gel Sorbet, moisturizes and quenches cooling gel, a leaflet on Clarins, toothbrush in its own box, an Air France pen. And that's it. Not bad. I gazed out of the window for a while until the afternoon snack showed up. Cream cheese and smoked salmon roll, yoghurt and fruit coulis, and a vanilla puff. Very nice, apart from the salmon. And rather than attempt eating it, I played with the squeaky table a bit. Small islands started to appear below, which could only mean that we were nearly there, and down we went into Sint Maarten, passing over the famous Maho beach. Although it looks like there's jetties for the planes, the fact is they all got destroyed in 2017 when it was hit by Hurricane Irma, and they're still rebuilding. Not just the airport, the island. It was nice to walk down the stairs and feel the Caribbean sun on my skin. And there we are. It was a fantastic flight with Air France. I enjoyed everything, apart from the smoked salmon of course, and the seats are a bit tight if you lay on your back. But I'm generally a side sleeper, so it didn't bother me too much. I would definitely fly with Air France again. They did a good job. After a bit of a wait for my bag, I headed off to my hotel for a lie down. Oh, planes! I nearly forgot. You want to see some landing? Well, here's a couple, and I'll upload the rest next week. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.